turn on recording lights.
Okay.
Before Google Photos, I would waste a lot of time categorizing my pictures to be able to find them in the future. But with AI, there's no need for that anymore. All I have to do is type something like elephant in Berlin, and there it is. That's why many years ago, I started telling my clients to stop wasting time organizing everything. And I started telling that to myself too, if I'm being honest here. But I think Phil Libin summarized it in a very clever way. By the way, if you haven't watched the first part of my conversation with him, there are very interesting, very good insights there. Here's what he said. There's the concept of being organized, and there's the concept of organizing. I would say that the concept of organizing, we have to add to it the concept of people that like to organize, like to tweak everything, like I did with my pictures before Google Photos. Anyway, he goes on explaining how they built Evernote for people that like to be organized, but don't like or are not capable of organizing. And I can't stop thinking about that the way he summarized it, especially because I'm helping a client with an Obsidian project. And on top of that, there's all the possibilities that the Evernote acquisition may bring to the app. We may see a lot of AI in Evernote in the future. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Today, there is no tutorial. My plan is have a conversation with you about this topic. So let's go. Okay, this will sound a little nerdy, but years before Evernote, I would take notes in a crazy way. It worked like my own internet with links. I would link notes, I would code everything and synchronize that with my Palm Pilot so I would have my notes with me all the time. And for the two of you wondering how I did it, I was using an Event server. Okay, enough with that. Let's move on. My point is this evolved to a database, and I would spend a lot of time tweaking the system, tweaking the notes, instead of using the notes. Does it sound familiar? Hold that thought for a moment, please. I love that process so much that when I tried Evernote for the first time, I remember being frustrated by the lack of many configurations. I especially remember being mad at the fact that we could not create, and we cannot create till this day, a notebook inside a notebook. And at that time, we didn't even have stacks. It took me a while to let go of my desire to control everything, but when I finally let go, Evernote started working like magic. I have already covered this topic in many other videos here on the channel, but I'd say that the fact that we can capture our thoughts, information, take notes, pictures, the web clipper, we can capture in so many ways. The possibility to chronologically order our notes, either by creation date or by the date they were updated, plus the amazing search are a combination without match even these days. If you're not familiar with Obsidian, here's a quick explanation to help you understand why my client is using it. You can, for example, open a PDF or any other file using the Obsidian app. You can click there and see the PDF there, or you can open that PDF or any other file using the computer file system. Go through the directories and find that file and work on that file, delete that file, or add new files. As long as you are working on the same folder structure that you use on Obsidian, whatever you do in one side will happen on the other side. In fact, there's no one and other side, it's the same folder structure. Okay, the point is my client deals with a lot of PDFs. He receives the PDF, he sends the PDFs, he has to organize them. Like my first nerdy system, there's a lot that he can do. And based on the videos I publish here on the channel about how I set up my Evernote, I think you can tell that I love to play with advanced features. So much that when I'm working with a client using an app like Obsidian, I find myself so involved that I have to step back for a moment to avoid creating a system unnecessarily complex. And this is something that happens with people that love organizing. Sometimes they find themselves in an endless organization loop just because they can. And like my past self, some people see Evernote limited settings as limitations. I don't see it like that. I see them as boundaries that help me be more productive. And talking about productivity, if you like what I do here and want to help support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. Is it possible to be organized without organizing? Well, this is what my wife does. She captures everything. I think she has 2 or 3 notebooks in Evernote. She captures everything using the web clipper, taking pictures, taking random notes, dragging PDFs to Evernote, and relies 110% on the search. And some of my clients do the same, although they end up learning and using the notebooks and tags structure we create together. When it's time to find something, they click the search box and look for that information. And this drives me crazy. Both what my wife does and what the clients do. But it shouldn't. I should be celebrating the fact that there is an app that let us find and be organized without having to organize. That's amazing. You know what? I'm sure I'm more productive when I'm using my system instead of tweaking it all the time. And yes, I know that that's hard because I've been in both sides. In fact, I'm constantly in both sides. I have my system in Evernote and I'm constantly helping clients with their work or prefer systems that we can tweak every single detail. And I do have to deal with some setbacks. But, you know, if we stop to think about what AI is already capable of, it's impossible to keep up with only our human abilities. It's impossible. This video was possible, not possible, but I love the fact that there is a tool like LanguageTool that can help me write better scripts. And full disclosure, they've been a sponsor of this channel in the past. They are not sponsoring this video, but I do use them for every script, for every video. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's wise to ignore AI, to think that we can be better alone. Of course, we can love to play, we can love to tweak the system, but I don't think it's wise to ignore that we can work together with AI and be much better than just a human working and building a system. So here's my question. How much control would you be willing to give up to be more productive? Or is it stronger than you? Yeah, I know it's hard. But think about it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.